When we hear the word Gothic, we immediately think to the huge cathedrals like this one here. And there is a lot to know about it, so let's start. Hi everyone and welcome back to Exploring Art. This is Alessandro and I'm so happy because today we can continue our discovering on Gothic art. In the previous video I promised today we would have looked at a beautiful example of what we learned about Gothic architecture. And here we are with the Basilica of Saint-Denis, or Basilique Royale de Saint-Denis in French, a large abbey church in the city of Saint-Denis, now a northern suburb of Paris. I picked this church not only for the beauty, but also because it's the first building where we can see the earliest use of all the elements of Gothic architecture. You can check the links in the description for more info. Actually, the church was built many centuries before keeping Saint-Denis relics. By the way, reason why it's a basilica. The saint is a patron saint of France, so a kind of very important religious figure, and the church should show this importance. That was the reason why, in the 12th century, Abbot Suger wanted to rebuild portions of the abbey church using innovative structural and decorative features. It's important to emphasize that Suger was not the architect, as was often assumed in the 19th and early 20th centuries, but the patron. In fact, it's clear that two distinct architects, or better, master masons, were involved in the 12th century changes. Both remain anonymous, but their work can be distinguished because of the different styles. The works, in fact, have been realized in two phases. The first one on the west front, circa 1135-1140, with many Gothic innovations but still close on many details to the Romanesque style. The second one on the choir, circa 1140-1144, where we can identify all the Gothic elements typical of the northern cathedrals. The west front is the Basilica's facade. It's 34 meters or 112 feet wide and has three portals, the central one larger than those either side, reflecting the relative width of the central nave and lateral aisles. This cleared vertical division in three parts is going to be a common element in the development of Gothic architecture and a marked departure from the Romanesque. Another innovative Gothic element is the towers. Yes, towers. I'm not drunk. Originally, in fact, they were two, but the one on the left, the tallest one, properly called North Tower, was dismantled in 1846 because damaged by a storm. I have also evidence of what I'm saying thanks to this illustration of Félix Benoit, where we can see how the church looked like before the accident. I think someone in France should put the left tower back, but that's a personal opinion. The rose window is another important Gothic element because even if these windows were common already on the Italian Romanesque churches, here the stained glass windows were a lot more decorated, and we can see the importance of the windows and light in the choir. Abbot Suger wanted to fill the cathedral with light, and he was able to achieve that beautiful result with the wisely use of pointed arches and ribbed vaults. These arches allowed, in fact, to reach greater heights, and with the ribbed vaults, the weight is channeled to the ground along the pillars and columns. That means that the walls can be really thin, or technically even absent, so that the spaces can be filled with windows. To contrast the outward thrusts, architects built many flying buttresses outside the walls that are another key feature in the Gothic architecture. Flying buttresses that are not just a structural necessary element, but are used as external decoration with an impact on the internal definition of the cathedral spaces. The result is unbelievable, and the stained windows are just the final step to achieve the height and light that Abbot Suger wanted to reach. We need to remember, in fact, the importance of the windows, not only to give more light, but as a message for the churchgoers. every windows are full of symbols and meanings, so a foundation of the Gothic communication, not just a decoration. What the architects built here influenced the entire Gothic architecture, reaching levels that were probably impossible to imagine. Leave your comments, I'm always happy to interact with you, and remember to subscribe so you won't miss the next episodes of the series. Ciao!